You mentioned the focus on the third eye, and I'm a little curious because I've encountered approaches where certain centers are more valued than others, and I'm looking for an approach that is also kind of valuing the grounding parts too, and I'm curious how that relates to.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So, did everybody hear the question and understand? So basically, the third eye is this center of energy here that is the portal to inner consciousness. So the reason why we started with awakening the third eye is because this is the phase that will be the first tool to get to start your vision and to start discernment. So there's no dogma to believe, there's no belief systems. It's just, this is your tool, all right? We give you the technique to get a grasp of this tool, and then you use this tool to discern for yourself what's right for you, what's not right for you, and as you cultivate your third eye. As we progress in the work, we start building different areas, different centers of energy as well. So like, for example, with grounding, we will work with the envelope of the belly, we work with the envelope of the heart, we'll work with centers of energies above the head, for your daily modern life. And so then it becomes a whole suite of techniques. It's just that for the start, we will start with the third eye because it's your portal to inner consciousness. Yeah, and then there's this focus, awareness as well.
I'll just share something. We did this big bill, and I took the ATE workshop in November of last year, and it's been really an amazing experience. And when you were talking about tuning into that whole verticality, I love to swim, and last time I swam was I think last summer, and I said, oh, it's time to swim again. And last Thursday I went to the pool, and I said, okay, well, I'm just going to tune into that point above my head. And I was just amazed by, I just moved through the water. And I swam for 3/4 of a mile straight after not having swam for a year. And I was just so amazed. So I'm just so grateful for this work. I don't even practice it every day, but there's something very, very profound in terms of the shift of the energies. It's so easy to just tune in, and it's like, wow, it's right there. So,
thank you for sharing about that, because that's how I feel too when I started the work. It was so easy. Like, I didn't really feel I was making any effort at all, or focus, concentration, that I need to, remember to meditate or do, like, it's just something that comes, it's like I didn't make a lot of extra effort to make sure I have to remember to do this in order to get that kind of stuff, like it just comes. So yeah, and that frictionlessness that you're describing in terms of swimming, you're just in a zone or something.
yeah, I was actually very, very surprised that I think that's actually the most that I've swum in. I haven't swum for a year. And I used to I used to swim before, but I was just blown away how easy and simple it was. So I'm just actually going because we're gonna know everything about the technique and everything. But I was wondering if that have you met anybody who's practicing and has that more challenge in terms of progressing mind connecting, or everybody, or does this happen pretty much with everybody, no matter who you are?
That's a good question. And what I found out is that different techniques resonate with different people. So there isn't just one technique in the school. There's like a suite of different techniques. So like for some people, they may find it a lot easier to, or they find it there's a resonance in terms of working with the belly or find the tool that resonates the most with you, and then you would start your journey there, and that is going to be like, how it will work for you. Like for example, for me, because I'm from Singapore, so I grew up in the city, and so it's all about centers of energies above my head, right from when I was young. Even though I wasn't conscious about all these terms and what's happening, it was happening. And so for me, when I started to work, the verticality, the working centers of energies above my head was the thing that resonated the most with me. But it was not necessarily the case with the rest of my friends that are living in Australia or other parts of the world where they are more like a valley person. They live with cows and animals and so different ways of growing up. So they have cultivated different things, that they use in terms of getting a hook to access the teachings of the work. But basically, because there is a common language among that, the language of matter consciousness, we could share our experiences and learn each other as well. So, I haven't really seen people that have difficulty with it. It's just you have different access points.
I'd like to listen. What do you think the best, the easiest breathing technique using to start meditation?
Breathing technique?
Yes. What do you think is the best? Quite a few I know, but what do you think is someone just starts meditating from previous experience?
Yeah.
What do you recommend to do as a starting point?
So for the Clairvision schools, technique to start, there isn't a breathing technique per se because it is not a breath meditation.
Right.
It is a meditation. There is a method that we use that we call the throat friction, where you are using your breath as well, but it's not a breathing technique. It is to use the throat friction as an amplification as you focus on awakening the third eye, as you connect it to your third eye. And I've tried breathing meditations, breathing techniques before I found Clairvision. Like I tried implementing Zen meditation breathing techniques. And I remember I was in Singapore and I sat in front of the ocean and I was closing my eyes and I was breathing, and it helped. It helped me to calm my mind and everything. But it was enough only if I remember to focus on my breath. And so there wasn't a real catch that allowed me to make it sustainable in a longer period of time. But with Clairvision, in terms of awakening the third eye, it's something that I didn't have to remember to do in order to start feeling vibrations and to start integrating it in my life in a very unconscious way. And the work starts from there. It starts with not just remembering to meditate 15 minutes a day, but the work becomes more powerful when you take it to the rest of your day and you start integrating it into your daily life, and then that builds on the daily meditation as well.
That's the point. So it's a breathing technique, just a starting point for all meditation, as far as I know. And then from that, you go to specific techniques, open the third eye, which I understand more or less. And then it becomes automatic, right? You don't have to focus on anything.
The only thing is in Clairvision, we don't start with breathing techniques. We start with the throat friction and the third eye at the same time. So it's not just the breathing techniques that we start with. There's the third eye and the throat friction. Can you let me know when we are? 5 minutes?
Michelle, you spoke about looking for work.
Yes.
You didn't use the word meaningful, but that comes to me. Could you say some more about that in your life journey and what this has meant to you? Because I struggle a lot lot of the condition of the world, the planet. Where am I? This picture, what I like to do, how I like to be, and all that.
So do you mean specifically with like the work that we go and do, or do you mean work in a different way?
Well, I'm thinking about, you spoke about jobs and looking for something else. From Singapore to Qatar, and then you came to fair trade, which is a particular approach to parts of conditions of the world. So can you speak a little bit more about your journey in that aspect?
There is a lot of navigation that I do in terms of finding meaning in my work and in my life. And when I say navigation, I actually mean it as a function of the centers of energies above my head, which you will learn more as you progress with the techniques. And there is a sense of like getting a sense of my truth and what I know I'm being led into, like, you know, in terms of what, just a sense of like what I want to contribute in the world, and finding that match in the outside world. So like, for example, with Fair Trade USA, for example, the culture of the place, the whatever Paul Rice, our founder and CEO, is holding in terms of his commitment to the cause and to the people, I feel that there is a match there. And when he talks and he shares in our meetings, something sparks for me. There's an inspiration with the techniques that I have and the vision that I've cultivated over the years. I could tune in to where he's coming from when he shares about his vision for where Fair Trade should be going and where the organization should be going, and what we can do to make the world a better place, to really make a change. So there's me, and then there is this group of people and organization, and I'm not that, but I am finding a match that most likely has the greatest alignment. And I use it with contrast as well, like where I've worked with technology companies, I've worked as a derivatives trader, and I've worked in airlines, where there are just different culture, or there's just a different thing in that group of people, or in that group, or in that company. And what is a match, what's not a match? You know, it's like me, I'm matching yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. So it's kind of like finding that what has the greatest match for me, and then this level of not like 100%, maybe 80% is good enough, you know. And then I'm evolving as well. Like as I start seeing that I can be more, I can be bigger, then we change. So as we evolve in the world, things change as well, and we start feeling, oh, okay, maybe I can do something else. But it's not in a way where I'm closing off to whatever's happening here, but that I'm moving towards something bigger and better, that's closer and closer to the truth that I'm discovering every day.
Thank you, Michelle. First of all, the guitar, to your question, it was perfect. I remember why I went to the guitar, because I wanted to have a cool job. When I asked you the same question that he just asked you, how you tuned in from afar, and you tell that story to everybody, but how you were tuning into the energy and how you felt it was completing you in some way. What do you answer that question?
Yeah, like so for example, I've lived in Singapore for 26 years, and you know, living in the same culture where your family members are, and you know, you're like a fish in the water. You do not really know you are in the water because you are fish. You know, it's like, so I do not really know. I can't really see the separation between what's me and what's my culture, what's me and what's conditioning. So when I got the opportunity to go and work in Qatar, I know that it's not going to be easy. I know I'm giving up all my stuff back in Singapore, my friends and network. But when I tune in above to my higher self, I know without a doubt that that is the right step to take. Because in terms of my spiritual journey, that is the next step to take to break away from things that are holding me back, not in a bad way, because I have really, really wonderful networks and friendships and relationships and things were going really well. But I know that it's a step to take because it aligns to my truth, my next step of my spiritual progress. And yeah, it did. It took me, I met Troy, it took me here. And so, all these major decisions, they are really hard decisions. But then having that vision and that certainty from what Clairvision has given me by cultivating my vision from 9 years ago, it builds on it. It starts giving you that discernment and certainty about how you want your life to be, and you start really becoming the master of your own ship, your own universe, and you steer that ship to where you want it to go.
Yeah, so I'm just going to add exactly what Michelle, all the toolkit that she has, when she does that work before, she thinks about something at the end, and something she says before, she was talking about she came to Qatar, and at the end, that's where she's at, and she breaks away from that work conditioning, and then she uses her toolkit to do the marriage trade. It's interesting to watch because that's what I'm just going to share. The tool that she used to put vision on it, she
To what extent you have to be present in everyday environment? How far you feel yourself present in what you are doing? How important it is? So, how you connect in the world to what you are doing? In each case, if something leads you to that, or you lead itself. So, to what extent you are in charge, in control?
So that's a good question, and that ties in with like what I was speaking earlier about the device and the dynamic awareness techniques that the school is teaching. And that's a huge part of the work where you start to learn to rest on your third eye or your device instead of your ordinary mental consciousness. And it's there's a lot of discipline and will that's involved whenever you realize that you're resting not on your device and not being present, because your device is a tool to help you be present. When you're not resting on your device, then you are not being present. So it comes back to the technique of being present.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you.